Thank you for staying with us. The Supreme Court has dismissed the case filed by Rivers State Governor Similai Fubara, which sought to remove 27 members of the State House of Assembly over their alleged defection from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. VOP News gathered in a ruling delivered today by Justice Musa Wanu Abba RG. The Apex Court dismissed the case following the unexpected withdrawal of the appeal by Fubara's lead counsel, Yusuf Ali, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria. Governor Fubara, in a notice requesting the withdrawal, informed the panel of justices that the matter had been overtaken by events. The Rivers State House of Assembly and its Speaker, Martin Amawale, represented by Chief Wole Olanipekun, a senior advocate of Nigeria, did not oppose a request for withdrawal. With no objections from the parties involved, the Supreme Court dismissed the case and ordered Fubara to pay 4 million naira in costs to the House of Assembly and its Speaker. Speaking to reporters after the ruling, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Ken Ijemanze, stated that the decision had effectively cleared the path for the 27 lawmakers to fully resume their roles in the Assembly. He further explained that all legislative actions taken by Fubara in the absence of the 27 lawmakers, including the presentation of the 2024 and 2025 budgets to just 3 legislators, had been rendered null and void. Meanwhile, in reaction, the Rivers Court government has clarified that its legal challenge regarding the leadership of the State House of Assembly and the membership status of lawmakers who defected in December 2023 remains pending before the Supreme Court. The clarification was made by Edison Ehie, Chief of Staff to Governor Similai Fubara, in a Facebook post following speculations about the recent Supreme Court ruling. He explained that the Supreme Court ruling on Monday, February 10, 2025, was specifically related to the appeal court's judgment, which directed Governor Fubara to represent the 2024 budget before the Martins Amawale-led Assembly. He stated that since the 2024 budget had already been spent, Governor Fubara decided to withdraw his appeal against the ruling, as continuing the legal battle would serve no practical purpose. The suit pertained solely to the 2024 budget, which was fully utilized by December 31, 2024, marking the end of the fiscal year. Now, the self-acclaimed leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has been returned to the custody of the Department of State Service, DSS, following the indefinite adjournment of his terrorism trial. Justice Binta Fatima Nyako of the Federal High Court in Abuja today adjourned the matter sine die, which means indefinitely. The adjournment of the trial indefinitely followed Kanu's insistence that the judge cannot preside over his case since she had recused himself. It was quite dramatic.
The law. You don't know the law. You don't know the law.
I'll give the repetition.
I have petition against her. Nonsense. Nonsense. Why is it when it comes to my case, they turn the law upside down? They turn the law upside down. Upside down. Upside down. The rules. Who are not educated. I am an educated man. I can't show them the petition for the simple reason that if you show it,
what the judge said was that the case file.
Listen, this is the laws of Nigeria. The prosecution and this court doesn't know the law. That is the fact.
Yes.
Poor knowledge of the law is killing Nigeria. Poor knowledge of the law, they don't know the law. This is a federal gazetted law of Nigeria that says here that the chief judge of Nigeria cannot tell Binta and Nyako what to do. It's here. It's your law. Just obey it. That is why I do what I do. I agitate for Biafra. I agitate for Biafra by right to agitate. My right. They turned it from treasonable felony now to terrorism. Stop talking when I'm talking. Sorry. Of Nigeria, chairman of board of benchers. An old man like this doesn't know the law. You don't know the law.
I'll give the petition.
You need left that. I have petition against her. Nonsense. Nonsense. Why is it when it comes to my case, they turn the law upside down? They turn the law upside down. Upside down. Upside down.
The rules.
Who are not educated. I am an educated man. I can't show them the petition for the simple reason that if you show it, an old man like this doesn't know the law. You don't know the law.
I'll give the petition.
You need left that. I have petition against her. Nonsense. Nonsense. Why is it when it comes to my case, they turn the law upside down? They turn the law upside down. Upside down. Upside down.
The rules.
Who are not educated. I am an educated man. I can't show them the petition for the simple reason that if you show it,
what the judge said was that the case file.
Listen, this is the laws of Nigeria. The prosecution and this court doesn't know the law. That is the fact.
Yes.
Poor knowledge of the law is killing Nigeria. Poor knowledge of the law, they don't know the law. This is a federal gazetted law of Nigeria that says here that the chief judge of Nigeria cannot tell Binta and Nyako what to do. It's here. It's your law. Just obey it. That is why I do what I do. I agitate for Biafra. I agitate for Biafra. My right to agitate. My right. They turned it from treasonable felony now to terrorism. Stop.
That was Nnamdi Kanu there, very agitated, actually roaring, saying Justice Binta Nyako does not have the right or the capacity to detain him or try him further. Also, he alleged that Justice Binta Nyako, her husband and son are facing corruption-related charges and thereby do not have the prerequisite to actually try him in court. Meanwhile, in response to his reaction to his legal counsel warning him to shut up while he was talking, here is one of the defense counsels actually defending Nnamdi Kanu's actions today in court. Let's take a listen to him. From that particular video, but the lawyer literally clarified the situation of Nnamdi Kanu's case, literally explaining that Nnamdi Kanu has been in isolation within the DSS custody for a very long time, and obviously psychologically his situation can be quite compelling and affecting his emotional stance, his psychological stance. He also explained further that other groups or persons who have been involved in terrorism related charges, which he mentioned including Moyele Showore, Bello Badejo, the former head of the Mieti Katau Haure, have been released and their cases resolved, and asking for a political resolution in the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Also stating that it is a possibility that maybe Nnamdi Kanu, because of the fact that he's from the southeast, and possibly that's why his case is still in court and he remains within the custody of the Department of State Services. Meanwhile, the counsel, Aloy Ejimako, has also disclosed that the federal government cannot detain the indigenous people of Biafra leader indefinitely. Kanu's case was adjourned indefinitely by Justice Binta Nyako on the Federal High Court today. Now, his lawyer argued that Nyako, who had recused herself from IPOB leader's case, ought not to preside over the case. Ejimako in his statement argued that Justice Nyako possessed no jurisdiction to conduct the hearing. He said, and I quote, "For avoidance of doubt, the court proceedings today concerning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a complete nullity because the judge, having been recused, possessed no jurisdiction to conduct the hearing. Thus, any order of synodi purportedly made is also a nullity." On the way forward, the IPOB leaders' lawyers said the government should transfer Nnamdi Kanu's case to a federal high court in the southeast if no federal high court judge in Abuja intends to preside over his client's case. He further added that the government could decide to allow Kanu to go home while government prosecutors replan their case against the IPOB leader. You're currently listening to the World News at 6 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll take a very short break, and when we return, we'll head into our news analysis segment where I'll be joined via the telephone by Barrister Eze Eluche. He'll be giving us his own perception to what transpired in court today, as well as other issues in the World News at 6. To kindly stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. This is still the World News at 6 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. The Ebonyi State Police Command has refuted information circulating in the media alleging that the abduction of President Ohanaeze Youth Council OYC Wayaka was carried out by officers from the command. The command said based on a petition submitted to the Commissioner of Police which alleged he disseminated false information capable of truncating peace and destabilizing communities in Ebonyi State. In a statement issued today by the command spokesperson, SP Joshua Ukandu, he stated that the command is currently investigating these allegations, and once the investigation is concluded, he'll be charged to court. Barrister Eze Eluche, good evening and thank you for joining us on the World News at 6 today.
Yeah, good evening and thank you for the
Barrister Eze Eluche, I don't know if you saw the video of Nnamdi Kanu's reaction today in court. At some point, he told his lawyer to shut up while he was talking. Now, a lot of critics have responded that, is it possible that somehow Nnamdi Kanu is being psychologically affected by the fact that he has been within the custody of the DSS for almost 5 years now? That's one question. Number two, is Nnamdi Kanu supposed to present himself? Is he supposed to represent himself in court today, considering the fact that he had his legal counsel who ought to speak on his behalf? How do you react to this?
Clearly, from the very onset, it was clear that the government, in its efforts to overwhelm Mr. Nnamdi Kanu and his organization, will deploy not just legal means, but also extrajudicial best processes. So what we see playing out in the news conference or in the press briefing Mr. Kanu had today was into the psychological impact, the prolonged detention in conditions that are not very, very clear because access to his doctors, to his counsels has been repeatedly denied over 3 years. And we can see that there is some kind of psychological effect on Nnamdi Kanu. When the litigant bursts out at his lawyers, hits them physically, you begin to suspect that something has gone wrong. Wrong with the whole process. And with regard to the lawyers who keep on allowing their claims to address media briefings, at times embarrassing himself with because he's not a lawyer. So some of the utterances today we are not real, we're not realistic. So, and then we saw him actually hit one of the lawyers that he should shut up when he's talking. It was quite embarrassing. Any counsel worth his salt would at that moment step aside from that case. Because what else? What else remains? But it has been clear that some of these lawyers, they have non-altruistic reasons for continuing the process or the procedure they are doing or they are following in supposedly defending Mr. Nnamdi Kanu. Because what they have been doing so far is not ethical. It's not how a defense counsel should conduct their case. For a very long time, I've been of the opinion that it is very clear, even to the densest of lawyers, that the Nigerian system, the Nigerian judicial process, will not avail Mr. Nnamdi Kanu of justice in this matter. They have explored all the options. They have gone to the Supreme Court. They've come back separately. The only opportunity now they have is to go extract the Nigerian judicial system, to approach the African Court of Human and People's Rights or the ECOWAS Court on Human Rights. These are the options they have. Continually parading Mr. Kanu before the Nigerian system that will continue to prolong and adjourn is wasteful. Like in today's instance, what the judge did was to adjourn the trial indefinitely. Have you seen such kind of insanity? How will you adjourn a trial indefinitely when the accused person is in detention? It's clearly insane. So we said there is no justice for this young man in this process, and his lawyers continue to enjoy the limelight of media publicity. But is that what the whole issue is about? Is it to create publicity for themselves or to bring justice to the detained Mr. Nnamdi Kanu?
Barrister Eze, are you on speaker? Because I can hear another noise at the background.
No, I'm not on speaker. I'm just speaking directly. All
right, Barrister Eze, you said something that some of the things Nnamdi Kanu said was not realistic. For example, he brought out the Constitution, citing the fact that no court of competent jurisdiction has the right to ask Justice Binta Nyako to preside over this case or force her to continue over the case. In the same breath, he accused Justice Binta Nyako of working on a personal interest, meaning that he said that Justice Binta Nyako's husband and son have a corrupt case to answer to, and so he considers her biased. And he also said, why is it that anytime it comes to his case, the law is twisted? He also referred to the fact that he is intelligent, he is educated, literally trying to interpret. But you made a statement that there are some statements he made that are not supposedly in order. Can you help me clarify what that means?
Well, it's for him to have an opinion on what the law says.
Okay.
But the ultimate decider of the legal meanings of the constitutional provisions is the court. So he can say what he wants to say, but if the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court returns the matter or the file of the case back to Nyako, that is how it is. So, the lawyers should have advised him properly. And therefore, like I keep on saying, there will be no justice for Nnamdi Kanu under the Nigerian judicial system. The process has been exhausted, and the best thing, in fact, the only opportunity available to them is to go extra Nigerian territory, extra Nigerian judicial system, and they approach international tribunals. That is how it is.
Barrister Eze, do you think they haven't tried this method you just suggested? Because a lot of persons are wondering what exactly is the problem. Do you think Nnamdi Kanu's reaction in court is what is causing his continuous detention? A couple of people feel he's not humble. A couple of people feel he is arrogant. A couple of people feel he is too authoritarian and has refused to be understanding or diplomatic. And as it stands, that could be one of his downfall. So him speaking in court today and making the utterances he made, do you think is going to further worsen his case?
Now, we see where the issue is being diverted. His personality should not be the issue.
Okay.
He's been tried for either terrorism or treatment for terrorism. Those are the issues. So his personal idiosyncrasies, his behavior is immaterial. Justice should be tried. There should be justice in his matter. What would we not expect somebody who has been kept in detention for over 3 years to act in any manner whatsoever? But that should not be the issue. But you see, the system is making it now appear as if his erratic nature, his utterances, his behavior, of whose concern is that. Why keep him in that detention for such a long time? But don't play according to the rules that your opponent creates for you. That is why this counsel, this lawyer, should have done the needful. And take away this matter from this Nigerian local system. It's not helpful.
But Barrister Eze, do you think that this is deliberate to make it seem like he is not mentally all right? And at some point, he may be asked to go to a mental institution or maybe chained in court or suppress him from speaking further? Because if you had heard the way he spoke today, he was literally vibrating. He was very agitated. His lawyers were asking him to calm down. He said, no, allow me to talk. They were whispering in his ear. He said no, and then he shouted at the other lawyer to stop talking while he was talking. So are you speaking to somebody who is ready to listen to his counsel, or somebody who feels you guys are not representing me enough? Because I saw the way he spoke to his lawyers and they kept quiet immediately. So don't you think it's now beyond them in this time around to control their client?
Now, this is part of what the system wants the public to see.
Okay.
I mean, it is so clear that, the issue here is no longer justice or the justice of this matter being tried.
All right.
You have a case of treasonable felony or treason or terrorism against a defendant. What is stopping this government from forging ahead? Okay, the justice who heard this matter today, if the Federal High Court has said you must try this matter, why allow these other subsidiary issues to disturb the trial of the matter? The reason is that even the prosecution is not even ready to go on. So the reality is that the court, the Nigerian system is trying to portray this whole process in it as a tribal issue.
Okay.
As a very tribal issue that it's not a matter of personality call. But there were very germane issues of self-determination, of self-actualization that led to even the arrest or illegal arrest of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. Those are what should be tried in court, and not the frivolities that people are now discussing. His reaction, why he's telling you, that is not the issue for goodness sake. But they are succeeding, and they are succeeding because Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers have almost acquiesced to the system. They refuse to do what they should do, and it's now becoming like a comedy trial. Quite unfortunate.
How do you think this portrays the Nigerian judicial system, especially the justices at the Federal High Court, the Court of Appeal, with how they have handled this case? I have never heard anywhere where they have actually given a jurisdiction to say that this case has been postponed indefinitely. There is no certain date or any date of adjournment. You say this case is indefinite. So are we saying that, or is the court telling us that Nnamdi Kanu will remain in DSS custody forever until they feel and do whatever it is they want to do? And is it not unconstitutional? Is it not against his fundamental right to fair hearing, to adjudicate that he is going to be in DSS custody indefinitely? Do you think Justice Binta Nyako was emotional in her judgment today?
Well, what the judge said is before the international community, the whole world saw the adjournment indefinitely today of the criminal matter that's been on for more than 3 years. The impression it creates of the Nigerian judiciary to the international community is a very sad and pathetic one. Now, even if Nigeria requests that anybody be repatriated for trial in Nigeria, that country would say, to what system? Is it to this judicial system that will try somebody and postpone, adjourn a criminal matter indefinitely? It reduces the entire process to a joke. Yes, in the short time, you might be emulating, you might be dealing with Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, but for the interest of the Nigerian policy, for the interest of the Nigerian judiciary, the judiciary is being portrayed in very poor light before the rest of the judicial committees in the world.
Marisa Eze Eluche, I remember asking you a question earlier, that do you think this detainment of Nnamdi Kanu is deliberate to affect him psychologically, so that somehow the Nigerian court will present something else and possibly continue his detention? Because a situation when you term somebody as mentally unstable, or when you think the person cannot be represented in court in person because the person is erratic. I don't know if you understand the picture I'm trying to paint, because you said something here. Any normal individual would react the way he did. But you said that he is playing already to the gallery, possibly falling into the trap of the federal government to be looked at as someone who is supposedly not normal. So what would you expect him to do? And how would you advise his legal counsel to ensure that next time at all, if they're able to approach the bench or approach Justice Binta Nyako for another date to be set, that there'll be proper comportment so that this case can be accelerated? What would you suggest?
What I think that the lawyers can do, because at this stage, it has been proved that whatever they are doing, they get from that system. One, they can actually withdraw from representing him in this matter. and let the government now know that they are holding this person at their own convenience. Because they bring him to court on regular intervals is just a travesty of justice. And whether there is, I mean, what he did today was what a normal person would do. There's nothing like insanity.
Yeah.
It's just somebody who is assertive, who is asserting his right. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But the issue is this. Severally, the courts have ordered that his medical doctors be allowed access to him, or for the detaining authorities to allow him to go for treatment, and they have refused. So, I mean, it doesn't take long to even, whether it is poison or whatever, or to put in things into a man that can make him alter his balance. So we hope, but I believe that the government will not go that extreme, but that will be too petty and too childish.
Yeah, and to be dangerous.
Having held this young man for this long, the trial is not proceeding to anywhere. The judge has adjourned it indefinitely. What else are you keeping this man? It's unfortunate.
All right, now his legal counsel has responded to the federal government. I wish I was able to play that audio because the lawyer that Nnamdi Kanu asked to shut up while he was talking had to defend himself. When he was speaking to journalists, he defended his client. He said that there were some things Nnamdi Kanu said that he ought not to have said because according to him, he said they advised him, okay, but that they understood the reason why he reacted the way he did, been confined for that long, and seems like there is a conspiracy to make him be detained or not give him fair hearing, so that it is normal for him to have reacted the way he did. But they're asking that his case be transferred to the Southeast. They believe that if his case is transferred there, possibly there will be an objectivity to how the case will be tried. Why will the federal government or the federal high court not listen to that plea? And what is delaying that? This is not the first time the legal team is requesting for his case to be transferred to the Southeast.
I will at least say it is extremely stupid for anybody to ask for the case to be transferred to any part of Nigeria for any reason, because it's the same federal high court, for goodness sake. But you think that if it's given to the Southeast, the judge will be somebody from Nnamdi Kanu's village? I mean, that is a
no. What they meant by that is that the government should transfer Kanu's case to the federal high court in the Southeast if there is no federal high court judge in Abuja who intends to preside over the case of Nnamdi Kanu.
I have heard what you said. What I'm saying is extremely stupid and preposterous for anybody, even a lawyer, to make such a suggestion. Because it is the same federal high court, for goodness sake. It is the same judges. I mean, what gives him the assurance that the judge will now try the case, even if it moves to Nnamdi Kanu's village, will be somebody from Nnamdi Kanu's village? I mean, you don't make such suggestions. The issues are very clear. It is a systemic issue. The judiciary has made it impossible for justice to be shown to Nnamdi Kanu under this current decision. So the way forward is to go extraterritorial, go beyond the nature of Nigeria, and not to talk of shifting to the Southeast. For what reason?
So,
I mean, it's actually crazy.
So you feel that it makes no difference?
Maybe that's why Nnamdi Kanu even hates his lawyer. Maybe that's why he smacked him, because if that was what he said, he deserved the smacking.
So you feel that it's not going to make any difference. So if his legal counsel seems not to understand what to do, and maybe which led to his outburst in court today, what should be the next modus operandi? What should be the right course? Because Michael Zekome used to represent Nnamdi Kanu, he left. Ejiofor used to represent him as well, he left. So is it that this legal team are bereft on what to do concerning his case?
Myself and Nnamdi Kanu is like bringing in an engineer for a medical problem.
Okay.
The rules of putting in the court trial is just to create a diversion. It is clearly not a legal issue. This is a politicized trial. So if you cannot play the politics, that you want to do the law, you go extra Nigeria, beyond the shores of Nigeria. It's as simple as that. Virtually every court, the High Court, the State High Court, the Court of Appeal, the Supreme Court have made rulings on this matter in the course of over 3 years. And the thing is not moving anywhere. So what does it take to realize that you can try something beyond the shores of Nigeria? And if the lawyers had any guts, if they had any integrity, the best thing for them to do after being smacked openly by the so-called claim and being asked to shut up, is to step aside and let Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, let it be seen that it is totally between the Nnamdi Kanu and the judicial system, and there's nothing legal about it.
All right, Barrister Eze, let's go into another conversation finally before I let you go. It's concerning Rivers State as well. The government there has clarified its legal challenge regarding the leadership of the State House of Assembly and the membership status of lawmakers who defected in December 2023. And they clarified that those lawmakers' case is still pending before the Supreme Court. You recall earlier that the court had actually, the story circulated that Fubara's case, all right, that is the appeal for the fact that his presentation of the 2024 budget remained legal and the 27 lawmakers who defected remain defected. All right. Then we heard that the appeal court had actually turned down that particular appeal from Fubara. And so we heard stories that it's possible that the 27 lawmakers may return. Well, the court in Rivers has clarified that that case is still pending in the Supreme Court. How do you think this would actually, let's say, set the tone in terms of the political activities in Rivers State and the administration of Fubara in Rivers State?
Well, the reality is that as of last week, the lawyers of Fubara had withdrawn these appeals from the Supreme Court. So the news that the Supreme Court gave a ruling on this same matter that had been withdrawn was quite strange to many lawyers. So, I mean, and what is happening now is the consequence of rascality that was not addressed when it first reared its ugly head.
Okay.
And it's part of the fault of the 2023 general elections. So, I mean, the people of Rivers State are unfortunately being made to bear the consequences of this rascality and the failure of our courts to adhere and respect and uphold the tenets of the Nigerian Constitution, which was very, very clear that the moment legislators leave the party that elected them into office, they lose their seat. So, I mean, so no matter how you turn this things around, how many years or months it stays in the court system, it only further muddles up and rubbishes the system. I don't know how the River State people can get out of this unless something breaks or something drastic happens. Because they cannot continue to have Speaker A, Speaker B every day. You don't know who to present the bills to. You don't know who is in government. You don't know who is ruling. It's quite unfortunate as that.
All right, Barrister Eze, I want to say thank you so much for taking your time to explain all of this. I do expect that the court will actually follow its due course. So does it mean now, in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, that there is a possibility that he may not appear in court again, or his legal team will have to approach the bench, approach Justice Binta and Nyako, possibly appeal to her for another date to be set? And if that date is set precisely, how soon do you think that would be? And what other requirements for that to be approved? Since she said the case is sine die, meaning indefinite, and which is unconstitutional in the right sense of things. So what method do you think they need to apply now? Because it's wrong for him to remain in DSS custody for that long and no more appointment to appear in court.
If the lawyers were in doubt whether it was right time to appear before international tribunals, this is the right time. The fact that the court has adjourned a criminal case indefinitely after the defendant has been in detention for more than 3 years, that is conclusive proof and evidence for them to understand that the Nigerian judicial system does not intend to have justice for Nnamdi Kanu within its body. So the next best move is explore options international. And the irony is that even the West African ECOWAS Court of Human Rights is located there in Abuja. These lawyers don't have to go far. The ECOWAS Court of Human Rights is located in Abuja. Well, you go there and file it. And then if you don't want that one, you can always try the African Court of Human and People's Rights. I simply don't understand what these young men are waiting for. Or do they want to have the next press conference and get slapped again by Nnamdi Kanu or what?
Do you think they're playing to the gallery? Do you think they're carried away with the media circles of the whole thing? Because I'm surprised that you have been suggesting this thing for so long. So why have they not thought about it? Or maybe it didn't. What exactly is going on? Why is that creativity or that intuitiveness is not there for them to approach every other legal measures to ensure that this case is accelerated? Because if you're trusting the system here and things are going on like this, that man may literally be there for a very long time.
Well, I mean, they are the only ones who can answer that question. But from anybody who is observing from outside, they certainly are enjoying the limelight. They're enjoying the so-called being lawyers of the IPOB, and then the press conferences they make. But it's not ideal. The ideal should be to bring justice for their claims, who is now been detained for several years and whose case has been adjourned indefinitely. That is what should be their priority, and not the 10, 20 minutes limelight of press media briefings they have after each court attendance. I mean, it is quite unfortunate.
All right, thank you, Barrister Eze Uche. Sincerely do appreciate your input on the World News at 6.
Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Army's Operation Fasangama has intensified its offensive against the Lakurawa terrorist organization, launching a coordinated search operation across northwestern Nigeria. As part of the ongoing military crackdown, troops have cleared multiple terrorist camps in Sokoto State and arrested a key suspect linked to a notorious terrorist leader. Military analyst and counterinsurgency expert in the Lake Chad region, Zagazola Makama, revealed that the operation was a joint effort involving troops from 248 Battalion and CIB. According to him, the offensive was initiated from Meikurimari village towards Riyanzobe in Binji local government area of Sokoto State. Now, upon reaching Riyanzobe, troops found Fulani settlers carrying out their normal activities, suggesting that the bandits had not fully taken over the location. However, further intelligence led the troops to Duchinkaye, a high-ground location where the criminals had set up a makeshift camp. Following a successful clearance operation, troops searched and destroyed the camp, preventing it from being used as a terrorist base. And now to wrap up the world news at 6, here again are the top stories. Fulbara loses again as Supreme Court dismisses suit against pro-Wike lawmakers. Wike lawmakers still before Supreme Court, Rivers government clarifies ruling. Troops launch manhunt for Lakurawa terrorists in northwest Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu's counsel speaks to federal government to transfer case to southeast. And police refute alleged abduction of Haneza youth president Iwayaka. That's a wrap on the world news at 6. My name is Esther Wachuku. Good evening and thank you for listening.